Hey improvisers, did you know some of the skills you already have can translate directly into writing sketch comedy? Learn more at the Sketch School's free live online sketch writing workshop on Saturday, May 17th. 2 essential tools to start writing sketch comedy. No writing experience? No problem. This live workshop is built just for improvisers like you. It's high energy, it's fun, and yes, it's 100% free. Don't miss out. Reserve your spot now at thesketchschool.com/free stuff. That's thesketchschool.com/free stuff. Welcome to Yes Also. I'm Suzi Barrett, and my guest today is one of the most delightful people I know, Lyndsey Frank. Lyndsey's a huge part of the improv scene in LA. They're on the UCB Herald team Lohan, the monthly UCB show Cuties, and the indie team Planet Weird. Lyndsey and I go on a real deep dive here. We get very real about their cancer journey and how that has changed and affected their improv. And we also get real silly and do a lot of bits. In part 2, we have fun pulling and initiating premises from a pretty unlikely place. If you would like to access part 2, as always, head to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe. That's where you'll get double the content, including all of our Q&A episodes and bonus episodes on various topics. yesalso.supercast.com. Remember also to follow us on Instagram at yesalsopod and head over to YouTube and subscribe to us for free to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. But for now, here's Lyndsey Frank. Lyndsey, welcome.
Thank you.
You're in your cute, cozy blankie that Ryan just provided. The house is oddly cold. We just had a rainy patch, and
which we love.
We love, but we are suddenly thrust into the olden times and a wintry climate that we did not sign up for.
And I cannot be cold for 48 hours.
Do you want to explain that? Should we start there and then work our way backwards?
Yeah, I feel like it's insane to be.
we have to call out the unusual thing in the scene, and then we need to frame it and justify it so that it makes sense.
The first thing I was taught was to not be coy. So here I am in my blanket. I have a PET scan tomorrow. One thing is you can't be cold for 48 hours, which seems like such a hard ask.
Yeah, I never knew about that with PET scans. Also, yeah, cold is like, how do I want to explain what I find funny about this premise? Like, nobody plans on being cold.
No.
So, like, if you suddenly feel cold, you can correct for it. But to prevent it seems like a hard, weird thing because you never know when it's going to sneak up on you.
Then you realize how many times you get cold.
Right.
Starting with shower.
Right.
I don't get it until it's warm. But you got to get
afterwards,
out.
You're wet. You have to turn. There is a chasm between when you turn off the water and when you get that towel around you.
Fast.
Yeah.
I have to get fast.
You got to be real fast. Another thing that's like that with like you can't plan it, but people think that you can or act like you can is like, remember to tell me about. It's like I'm not in charge of what I remember.
Yeah. And you remember.
Yeah, can you remember? Oh my gosh, remind me later. It's like, well, then I have to remember, and I don't get to choose how my brain remembers stuff.
And they could remember.
They could remember. Yeah, why are you telling me?
If one of us has to remember, can it be you?
I got a lot on my plate today. I'm already managing not getting cold. So Can you offload this for me? So we started with PET scan.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about your health journey? And I would love to talk about
It's a podcast.
It's a podcast. Like, has that affected your improv and comedy at all? Has it affected? Yeah. Okay. So tell us everything.
I don't know where to start, I guess, but I have metastatic breast cancer. So that's the kind of cancer.
It's like a really good kind. To say that's the kind of cancer. It's the kind of cancer that brings you flowers and compliments you.
It could have been like a better kind if it hadn't already been stage 4 when I found it. So if it hadn't already traveled to my bones, it would have been. And we didn't know it had, so it was a type of thing where my oncologist was very confident in saying, we're going to cure this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's awesome to say that and believe that. So we treated it aggressively as you would
Yeah.
the treatable kind, fingers crossed. Also, your life is still hell after. So be nice to all your friends in remission because they're anxious every day too. But yeah, we found out it actually had traveled to my bones. And so with stage 4, you can technically never say it's cured. So my PET scan tomorrow, we will be looking to make sure the drugs I'm on are still keeping it.
That it's still remissed.
It's still, I can't really see you anywhere active on this scan.
Man, I didn't realize that. I thought that you were cured.
Yeah, you and everyone else.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I look really good.
You do.
Is this the camera?
Yeah, that's. What did you think the camera was?
Your eyes. Your eyes. Like
they are
a Black
Nature's
Mirror
camera.
episode.
Oh God, that's a tough episode.
Yeah.
Where they scan for their memories in their eyes.
I love that episode.
Oh,
it's awful.
It's awful. As are all of Black Mirrors, but I
Yes.
can't stop watching. But okay, so I thought you but so the thing now is just we can't rest on our laurels. We are like actively just looking and checking to make sure that the remission is that no more whack-a-mole surprises pop up out of the woods.
Yes.
Like okay. Well, that's at least a good step, right?
Oh yeah.
Better than before. Like
it's so fun to find the glass half fulls in like the worst news you could ever get.
Yeah.
Ever. And I do. And you have to be kind of delusional about it and so hopeful and whatever. You have to keep going.
Yeah.
So all my friends have told me and close ones have been like, this scan's going to be perfect. And then you get your next 6 months of stress-free until I start getting scan anxiety around a month away where the spirals come and like every feeling in my body is bad and it could be it.
Right. You of course. It's like something like an itch. It's like, wait, why is there an
literally
itch?
an itch here
Yeah.
on my side because I had a weird itch before my diagnosis where I was like, I'm itchy so much right here. I think something is on me, and I spent a half hour trying to pull something that didn't exist,
like a thread from a pant or something,
off of me. And I was like, I wonder if that was one of my mets in my hip saying hello or trying to tell me something.
Right.
So now, if I'm itchy on my hip,
of course, spin out. Right.
Spin
and then,
out.
Yeah, man. That that would be awful.
Yeah, not
aside
being able
from
to
all the
trust
other
your
awfuls.
body. Yeah,
Right.
Which improv, I'm such a body expressive.
You are such a physical player.
Such a physical
Even
player.
in life, like when you do a bit or when you like find something funny, the way you express it comes out.
Kind of does go right to my hips.
It does,
to be
yeah.
honest.
Hips and shoulders,
Yep,
neck.
go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're an arm flailer. Very
Yeah.
puppety, very
Yes.
sudden movements
It goes,
and
yeah, right.
very marionette. Like I can see your strings a little bit.
Yeah.
Hang on.
And you're like you have the puzzle sorted out.
Oh, the door just spontaneously opened. It's trying to make you cold. I'm going to stop it.
See? And if you could remember to always have everything locked in the house for me. I didn't get cold.
You're still warm?
I'm still warm. Perfect.
Okay. Well, now I'm cold.
And that should be fine for me tomorrow.
Me being cold is going to be fine for you?
Fine for me. People around me can be cold.
Okay, great. Not to make it about me, but let's talk about other things about me. No, okay, I want to circle back.
Okay.
You, well, actually, let's stay here for a second. How has your journey through cancer changed your improv, your comedy, your perspective on all of that stuff?
I want to always say I was like laser focused on improv and my goals, and such a classic goal in Los Angeles, the height or the beginning of your height of your journey is making Herald Night
Mhm.
at UCB. That is why I moved here. I was doing short form in San Diego. I got really into it when I was 18, where I was like, oh, this is a path actually. Like you can take. They had you can take a 101, 20 or 201, 301. It
Where
might
were
have
you-
just been 1, 2, 3.
This was in San Diego.
This was in San Diego.
What was the
It's
place?
National Comedy Theater, where we've had other brilliant minds come out, like Marina Mastros and Giovanni.
Yeah.
We actually all moved up here at the same time because we both sort of were like, oh, did you see all that stuff happening in LA when we went up? I was doing short form in San Diego. It was something I had started going to watch growing up, and being obsessed. Like I would keep the pamphlets. I would keep, like, if they played Blind Line and wrote like a line from a movie and like, okay, we're done with that one, threw it out. I would like
Cute.
pick it up
God, that's so
and
cute.
have like a little scrapbook. Because my nan and I, she got me into the British version of
Whose Line?
Whose Line,
Yeah.
real young, old baby. That really opened something.
Yeah, same. That was an early unlock for me
Early,
too.
yes.
It's like, oh wait, what's that?
They don't teach me that in school.
Yeah.
That kind of like, when you're 4 or 5, you're like, a nurse, I guess. I'll be a nurse.
Mhm.
That'd be good. Then you
Then
realize,
it evolves to, I guess I could be Patch Adams.
yes, superstar.
I'll be the funny healer.
You can be the people in the box. Okay, that.
Yeah.
And then
The box being your TV.
the box being the TV, yeah. You guys didn't call it a box? Moving box.
Yeah, just to clarify, ours was a real TV. Your nan was putting G.I. Joe figures in a shoebox and doing voices of Whose Line Is It Anyway for you.
Yes.
Hey, I'm so sorry to call that out on the pod, but we have to talk about how poor and sad your life
we were
was.
poor. It was cute, though. Yeah, I remember a few things clicking like that.
Mhm.
So when I auditioned to be on the college team there and I got on, that, I guess, was it.
Yeah.
I felt like I had a path.
It put your train on the tracks.
Train on tracks.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you all took a field trip up to LA to, I don't mean to like demean it by
trip.
calling it a field
no,
trip.
it's actually a little bit cooler. We did a college team tournament.
Amazing.
So we're a bunch of college improv teams went to the West Side Comedy Theater,
Uh-huh.
and we made it to the semifinals. So we had time to kill. This might have been the second or third time we went up, but that time we had time to kill. And a couple of people on our teams were like, we need to either go to IO to see Beer Shark Mice, or we need to go to UCB to see Diamond Lion. And I think this Diamond Lion was the correct
Won the rock,
time.
paper, scissors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I saw, Eugene Cordero sort of changed it for me again.
Yeah.
And that whole show.
Do you remember anything specific about that show or his performance that
I was just like
cross-eyed?
It, like, kind of, being on a drug for the first time. You're like, I am absorbing so much knowledge,
Uh-huh.
but it's so much at once.
Uh-huh.
I have to come back up here immediately. I think me and my boyfriend at the time started driving up from San Diego once a week to take a 101 and
Wow.
staying at a friend's house that night.
Cool. So during that process, that's when Herald Night arrived on your radar as like, okay, that's like kind of because at the time
school.
that was like the gateway to UCB was to
Yes.
audition for. Now there's kind of other paths, but
Yes, and you in your class are you have to go see like two
Herald shows per class session. Yeah.
and discuss.
Or per class. Like during the 8 weeks, you have to see 2 shows. Yeah.
Yes. So then I fell in love with other players.
Mhm.
Betsy, Dave. Should I say their last names?
Betsy Sidaro, Dave Tooney.
You knew it.
Wow. Nailed it.
Yeah, like the bigger, more like me, bigger characters in their body, where I was like, oh, okay, I have a place here.
That's interesting. Did you feel like that was kind of the first time you saw your own style of voice represented in such a golden way?
Yeah. Yes.
And it was immediate recognition of like, that's like me, or was it more subconscious than that?
Well, I sure hope that's like me, and that it's like me, and or I could get to that level of me too.
Yeah.
Like if we want to talk Pokemon.
Let's talk
If
Pokemon.
I was a little Charmander, I feel like they were the like Charmeleons of what I could be if I kept honing this craft.
Got it. That's like what you could unlock in yourself.
Yeah.
And that it's okay to be that. Like there's a permission in watching Betsy play like that where you're like, oh, yeah, I can roll around and like throw a chair and yeah.
And the voices and Dave's commitment to being so silly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I knew I wasn't there, but when I got the bug in San Diego and realized I could take classes there, and then I got on that team, I couldn't get enough to the point where we were breaking into other theaters. Not breaking in. This guy had a key to like a theater downtown.
But to be fair, he was wearing a burglar costume. So it did seem like
we had the key, but we broke down the door to seem cooler. And we would just do improv with each other in the middle of the night to no one for ourselves, just because like, thank God we found this thing.
That's so awesome. So this was like you and Marina and Giovanni.
Marina and Giovanni were already on the main company. They're just a couple years older than me. But that was the goal for me there.
Yeah.
Until I was like, I have to leave altogether.
Okay. What compelled that? What was I have to go?
I guess
too much commute for classes.
Yeah. And just doing short form is awesome and great, and I'm glad I started that way. And there's a quicker turnover of being like, oh, I've done all the hack, but you know what's going to get the audience for these certain types of games, and you learn all of that. And it's like you get a lot of canned ants. They don't know it's canned. They think they're the first one giving you do Tom Cruise impression, and they think that's the first time you've jumped up and down on Oprah's couch and gone crazy.
Right.
But you haven't. So I felt like, I was almost getting as much out of that as I could, even though we were bringing styles down from LA after that because we wanted to do long form and be real artists.
You laugh, but that's like legit. Yeah.
And it's so hard when you start long form with like almost no tools, like the amount of shit we were eating for no one and for bigger audiences that thought they were going to see short form is so humbling.
You're at the dawn of the Renaissance. You're a sculptor who happens to be passing through like Italy, and you see Michelangelo carve the David, and you get back to your village, and you're like, guys, I want to show you what I saw. And you grab a rock and a hammer, and you're like, is this?
And then I never stop hitting it, and it's just sand.
And you're like, can you?
But you can sort of see how that will be the perfect ass.
Anyway, I'll be here every Tuesday night at 11:30 p.m.
And my mom, I feel like my parents were sort of like, and then you can definitely go do the other stuff you were doing. Like the first time they came to LA, from going to those like packed, essentially, Whose Line Is It Anyway shows, where it's just like, ow, scenes from a hat. We know we love this one. To just like, I think we were literally in the Straight Jacket Theater on. Do you remember that one? It was on Santa Monica. Is that on Santa Monica or the Complex?
Oh, the Complex.
They just have those random theaters. They decided to name one the Straight Jacket at one point. So I was like,
I don't remember that.
Come on down to the Straight Jacket Theater. Yeah, me, Marina, Giovanni, Hector Navarro, Nolan Schneiderman, Kyle Kenyon. So we're doing this to just my parents, not finding a game, just doing plot because we have not enough.
Not enough road
Not
map.
enough roadmap.
Too much car, not enough map.
No patternization.
Yeah.
Just doing a real, I think, scene on a plane.
Yeah.
And my parents were sort of like, why did they move here for this?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I could still see it and feel it. And I'm like, you don't get it yet,
Yeah.
but you will get it.
Well, you were like looking in the mirror and seeing Eugene Cordero. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I know what
I know.
I know what my destiny is. Yeah. Okay. I want to like weave this into like your evolution. And
Yeah.
I really am interested in this question of like how your improv has changed, but we can circle all around. Go in your order.
I had maybe auditioned for Harold. It gets muddy because then you're also auditioning for Lloyd. 10 to 12 times.
You did 10 to 12
auditions. Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe only one callback in all of those.
Wow. Important for the listeners to hear.
Important.
Yeah.
And the callback I got on Lloyd. I think you were in that first audition. And it was the first time I was like, thank God, because auditions are not my thing.
They suck. I think for everyone.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We can all agree that they suck for everyone. But it doesn't phase everyone like it phases me.
Yeah.
I go in and, oh, look, I'm already self-soothing.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, you're rubbing your neck.
Rubbing your neck. Audition.
Lyndsey, you're strangling yourself.
Self-soothing. I don't want to be here. It's also that time of year right now.
Yes.
And my heart goes out to everyone.
It is, it's sympathy card season, both preemptively and post-mortemly. James Mastriani and I just did a bonus episode on Herald auditions. And, you know, he opened by saying, like, you know, it is auditions for improv are antithetical to improv. And it's important for people to remember that. It's like, yeah, there and some people go like, well, then why even have them? And it's like, well, this is one aspect, like a theater that wants to show examples of what they're teaching. You know, we're teaching the Herald. They want to have a solid example that's reliable and dependable to point students to say, this is what this book is about.
Yeah.
So fair enough that they want to have some way of gatekeeping that. And I think auditions are the fairest way because you could do like teachers recommend or whatever, but then you're stacking it in a different way because like what if you're not in classes at the time, so there's a recency bias, or like what if you have a teacher who doesn't particularly like you or understand your comedy, but is that familiar?
Happens.
Yeah.
And you're right. And you've been thinking about it more logistically than I have for longer. You would have come up with a better system.
That's right. I would have. It's simply mathematically hard to see 1,000 people and make it as even and fair as possible. It's just hard. But it could be argued too that there is a lot of pressure performing on Herald Night.
That's what I was gonna say. People get on too early too, and have a rough time.
Yeah. Like if you can deliver in an audition despite the nerves and it's like, all right, well, you've already driven a boat through the white squall. We trust that you can do tours around the harbor.
Yep.
You know?
And I was sort of like, I was always in this mindset because I kept not getting on or not getting called back that I got here 2 years too late. Like the year to get here was 2009 and I got here in 2011.
That was a tough time to arrive in terms of like droves of people had saturated the system and it jumped from like 300 people at an audition to 600 kind of overnight. So there is some truth to that, but
you just drive yourself crazy around this time. And I was also like, you got to audition with your friends at one point? I would have crushed. Or like you could sign up. I missed that part too, or signing up with people you play with, which that doesn't seem too crazy.
Yeah.
But also every year you're going to be thrown something crazier than you ever could have anticipated. And here's where I'll bring it back to cancer and going through chemo and going through the scariest thing a person can go through and like coming really close to death and fighting for your life, all that stuff. Yeah, it's not like I stopped doing that. Everyone here thinks I'm in remission, which technically I'm not allowed to say. And I already had health anxiety before all this.
Lyndsey, I'm still in the room. I can hear you. Were you trying to whisper to just our audience? I'm so sorry that that's invasive.
You guys still have to be really nice to me. I was like, fuck. I went into this like, fuck. This is mine. This is not the hardest thing I'm going to do all year now. I've already done the hardest thing that I'll ever have to do, which is get told you have stage 4 cancer and then not sleep for a week.
Right.
And now I have to only do, because really my part-time, full-time job is fighting the medical industry, which I just did for this PET scan. It got pushed twice because of, one, I don't think they like to do their job very much at the front desk, and two, insurance pushed it. So it's like all these scary things all the time. That's real scary stuff. I know in my bones that also have cancer in it that
to bring it back, pattern.
That I am improv. Like this is it for me.
Yeah.
There's sketch comedy. There's stand up. There's drag. There's like all these avenues of comedy that I've all tried. And I'm like, thank God there's improv, because that's where I come through the hardest. And maybe there's even a 5th or 6th one that's not here yet, and I would come through even harder, but
you got to invent them.
But I have to invent them. Or when I'm acting and I improvise a line and the director's like, do that again, and then it's not as good again because
the mirth and the inspiration is missing.
Yes.
Because you know what you're going to say.
Well, now it's almost scripted again. But like that's where I'm like coming through and being my whatever I'm supposed to be.
I
don't know. What do you call it? Touching the source?
Yeah.
Being a vessel through, it's not even me.
Talking to Jesus on a cloud.
Jesus on a cloud is like sending energy.
But it's like the truest iteration of whatever your light body is, or whatever your inner fuel, your drive to be here. I
think that hot take, do you think you're born with it, or
is it Maybelline?
Or maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe. I go back and forth on the Maybelline paradox of the universe. Einstein believes that Maybelline is unified and cannot be separated from forces like gravity and energy.
Yeah.
No, I do think there's a great deal of whatever the improv ingredient is. I think that's in there from either from birth or from our early nurturings. Like, some nature in our DNA, maybe some nurture with how it, people who move around a lot, that's like a common thread here. Or like youngest child or whatever it is that
I don't think so.
No.
Isn't that?
You don't think what?
I don't think any nurture.
No nurture, just nature.
Yeah, because by that measure, I know a lot of people that should be really funny.
Right.
They're not.
I think there's maybe a combo of
it.
Yeah.
So
like
the way
everything.
your brain's designed, and then if it's pushed certain ways, sure.
Yeah. I think maybe there's genetic potential, and I think it's either the seed is either watered or it's not.
Yeah, seed there.
Yeah.
The way it gets watered, great. But I'm always in the mind of, well, thank God I'm funny, or like, what the fuck would I do with all this trauma?
Right.
Can I say fuck?
You can, but you can't say trauma. Can you say something nicer sounding?
Yeah.
What am I going to do with all this muffins?
What am I going to do with all these muffins? They're not the flavor I like. I like all the flavors of muffins.
Sorry, we are out of the banana nut. We have bone cancer.
Oh, yeah. shit and bone cancer muffins. Yes.
We are running a 2-for-1 deal, though. Yeah, I think that the whatever the seed is that's being watered and coaxed out of its shell with improv, I think for some people it's a comedy seed. It's like, ooh, this is the way that I can best express my funny ways that I process the world and my silliness and my comedic lens. And I think for other people, it doesn't water a comedy seed. It waters like a connection, spontaneity, surrender seed. But I've seen, in my years of teaching, I've seen people who are not funny, but who get a lot out of the practice of improv.
And I do think you can get funnier.
You can get funnier, for sure. For sure. And you can be funny by accident, too, which happens a lot. Yeah.
But will they ever have the seed?
Gross. Take Lyndsey's 4-part masterclass, The Seed.
I'm not
putting the seed in you.
This is why I don't teach.
You've been asked not to.
Please stop talking about seeds.
Yeah. They broke into a building downtown and said they were going to put their seed in our improv.
I'm going to put my seed in you because I see you were born without it.
So that is a big shift. That's like a paradigm shift to suddenly be like, oh, this pales in terms of things that are high stakes.
So I'm going into this Herald audition, like, hair has barely grown back. Like, and I don't care. This is mine. It was mine the whole time. Like, at this point, 10,000 hours, all the classes, all the workshops, all the coaching, all the, like, I just... also, it's just in me, and
a ton of kick-ass indie teams. Like, you were a force on this scene for years. You were one of those people where it's like every time I realized you weren't on a Herald team, it was like, what? You know?
And that feels good, too, to feel like I was wronged every year. Like I was robbed. It did feel good when you... Yeah, and it's happened to a few of the greats.
Ryan Rosenberg,
Jake Jabor, Ruha Taslimi.
Yes.
And it also feels good when you get that, like, standing out type welcome to Herald Night, because it's like, you know.
Finally people recognize the mountain climb of it all.
Yeah.
So wait, I didn't realize, so you got put on Lohan post-cancer diagnosis, post-treatment?
Yes, post-treatment.
See, and that's where I'm like, no, you were certainly on for a couple years before
They've
that.
They've been on for years. They're cured. They're looking good and doing great.
And they own Microsoft. Wait, which Lyndsey Frank do you know? Oh my God.
See, it's like a duo. I like the dichotomy of like loving that people are like great, and then also me needing everyone to also be so nice and check on me.
Yeah. I'm sorry I stopped checking.
Not check all your...
I have not sent...
You haven't sent any sunflower
I was going to say I haven't sent you a picture of a sunflower in over a year, and that's on me.
But that, you will never know how, like, life-saving that is. That made me want to cry. Just these things where people show up and they don't know how hard they're showing up. And you don't know... People you don't expect to show up. People you expect to show up get weird. It's such a weird thing. But yeah, it really, like, even this week, I'm so eating Xanax as cereal with my milk in the morning.
It sounds really bad tasting. You sprinkle a couple marshmallows in there.
It's starting to taste really good.
So yeah, wild. Okay, so you audition with barely hair growing back. A real fuck it attitude.
Yeah. And fuck you.
And
Not
fuck
to
you,
anyone anyone in general, but like, this is mine and I'm going to take it now. Because again, I think this like mantra of like, this isn't the hardest thing you're going to do all year. And then each audition throws you this new weird curveball of fuckery where you're just like, I couldn't have anticipated how much weirder and harder this would make an audition process.
Can you give me an example?
Yes, it was the first one back from pandemic. So at least 3 of these kids, to me they're kids because they're in their early 20s, had taken all levels through Zoom. This was their first time.
They didn't know how to be in their bodies.
This was their first time on a stage doing improv.
And was the audition panel all in masks, muffled laughter times? That was a weird adjustment we
actually passed that. We were all double vaxxed. So that was off.
But wow, to have several people, a healthy handful in your audition group be people who don't know what it is to stand on stage or haven't improvised scenes in a body.
In a body with another body. And I was just like, oh, that's so cute. What another fun way this is going to be hard for, everyone again. But I was like, at least it doesn't affect me today because I'm going to be fine. Like it's, I just knew it would be okay. And then I walked in with the group after introducing myself to a bunch of them, which also feels crazy, of just like, there's 2 people, you're like, oh God, oh, hi, yes, we've been doing it years together.
Yeah.
And then other people are like, hey, is this your first time? I'm
being in a body?
Well, this one. Yeah. And then I tell them my whole story and then everyone, no. Actually, I did walk in and start bawling.
Oh, God. This is great.
Because Sean Disson was in the audience and I hadn't seen him since treatment. And I was like, I haven't seen you. And I was like, sorry, guys, I'm just going to cry now. Then I got it together. And I was given a hug. And then I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
And we got 3 monologues. I stepped out first.
Hell yeah.
Hit the game hard, fast, soon. Didn't care who was next to me.
It was a 3-second scene. I hit it hard, fast, soon, and instant.
Then I looked at him and said, that's game.
And pulled a microphone out of your back pocket, drop kicked it, and set the room on fire. And then burst into tears again.
And everyone stood up and clapped.
and that's the story.
That's truly how it felt. So I guess just like a narrowing of like, this is my purpose, which I've known all along. But, you have your negative self-talk and you're like, what does this lead to? And what if you don't get on it again? And
what does it mean about me? Yeah.
You can't go to college and get a degree for improvisational comedy. So is it real? It is real. But like, all of that is gone now.
Yeah.
And it brings me so much joy. And like I said, medical system is my job. So I only have to focus on like acting and improv now because that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing that energizes me, whereas my medications suck my life
force. Right, you're being actively depleted by one thing and then actively filling the well with this like rainbow light on the other side.
Yes.
So you are completely neutral now. You've reached the human version of homeostasis.
Yeah.
Has it changed has that perspective changed your style of play or the way that you are in scenes at all? Or was it just kind of evident during that Herald journey?
I think it's just cranked a little bit. Luckily, improv was always the space that I found healing. What am I not allowed to say? Okay, so another muffin thing happened when I was 12 where my dad passed, and that was fucked up.
The first diarrhea muffin of your life.
I don't remember ordering because that was my best friend and like the person that like could see me.
Yeah.
Like from birth, I just like changed this person's world, and he let me know all the time. And I was born silly. And I felt like I was so dimmed after that because you just can't process a grief like that, especially with a mushy 12-year-old brain. I lost a lot of that goofiness.
Well, and it's almost like the resonant sounding board was gone. Like if you you know how like opera singers can break a glass because the glass like vibrates at the same frequency. It's like
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't?
Can I?
That's like a. It's
Can
like
we pull up a clip?
Let's pull a clip. Let's go. We'll cut to a clip, and we're back. Yeah, it's like an old trope, but that's actually true. Where like if opera singers sing at a certain note, like with the right glass, it will shatter the glass because it's vibrating the molecules at like the right frequency. But yeah, like in tuning forks, you can put one next to each other and the other one will vibrate. It's like capturing if it's the right match, if it's a resonant match.
I just remembered the best flirt I ever got with
Someone
a metaphor like that.
Oh, really?
But they were talking about tuning their guitar in the same way of like we started to vibrate.
Oh, whoa.
And you just explained it perfectly. But I was like, that just brought me back to like the best flirt I ever heard.
I was at a Fish show.
There was some guy in band. I was like, yeah, we're vibrating. And we were also talking about how our dads were dead.
Oh, wow.
And we were vibrating at the same time.
Lyndsey, go to him.
No,
not for me.
Not for me.
No, but yeah, it feels like your dad was a resonant match, and the one like celebrating and cheering on this core part of you. That's the most you part there is.
Yeah.
And when that tuning fork is gone, it's like, well, how do I vibrate? And there's nothing to catch it. Yeah.
Or it was just harder for me to get there.
Yeah, how do you start it on your own when normally it's a constant feedback loop? Yeah. God, every time we talk about that muffin, it is so sad. It's sad. Awful because also it's never not sad. Like
never not sad.
Your buddy's gone. Yeah.
Yes, doing EMDR at 27 really helped me.
That's like a type of EDM music.
I was just like, barely any lyrics, but
a lot of Sorry, what is EMDR?
Oh, your therapist will.
Is this the tapping thing?
The tapping, or the eye, but she taps on my legs. Yeah, it's that bilateral tapping that sort of helps you compartmentalize muffins. And it's a beautiful thing because, and the hardest thing, you take that moment of trauma that like is in there that maybe activates you the most. It's a really beautiful thing that I'm always telling people to do if they can, especially people with creative minds like us. I feel like it's a very beautiful thing to do. And also when you start going into those traumatic muffin memories, you start holding positive affirmations or like positive thoughts and feelings around it and going through the same like memory of it so that you're actively rewiring your brain.
You're reflavoring the batter. Yeah.
Not so shit anymore.
Right. And then now it's like strawberry diarrhea.
I like it. Now I like it.
Since we're on diarrhea very briefly, you off the cuff said something that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life. Years ago, I had eaten beets and forgot, and I pooped and was like worried for 5 seconds that I had pooped blood, and then realized I didn't, that it was and you went, second beets.
Second beat.
It's so funny. It's so funny
for such a niche.
I mean,
group. Wow.
I'm so glad I remembered that just now because
Second beats.
It's so funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're so heightened.
Yeah, they're so heightened. It was, it really went high stakes quickly because I was like, do I need a doctor? Nope, second beats.
I eat beets a lot.
Yeah. I drop beats a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to loop around to how you talked about your specific style, your silliness. Do you feel like that has an outlet for expression now properly, like in what you're doing? And do you feel like that is growing and developing? You know how you use that Pokemon analogy.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like your Pokemon has unleashed and is its full form?
Yeah. I feel full form now, which is awesome. Because when you're full form, you find ways to surprise yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I've done everything I've ever dreamed of doing, being every character, like every way my body can move. And then you push past that. I think there's like a Doors song about that. Break on through to the other side.
Which was about improv.
Yeah. And I think you can keep on breaking through to the other side and surprise yourself. And talk about full circle. I remember, like, because I hadn't met Dave Tooney, but I was obsessed with his improv, and just being in the scene long enough to like be at a birthday party where Dave Tooney also was. I think you were at the first one where I was brave enough to be like, I guess I could just have a casual conversation. It was Santina's like birthday at a park, and Dave Tooney was there. I was like, I think I could just walk up and say, how's the weather? He was so awkward and he's so nice, and I was just like, I did it.
The idea, knowing him, like, isn't the idea of being intimidated by him so funny?
Yeah.
It's like being intimidated by a flower. It's like, I guess I could smell it. I don't know.
Does it want to be smelled? Is it smelled all day because they're so great? And then full circle moment, you know, after getting Harold and you get asked to do more shows and you get Senor, I think he just maybe finally saw me a few times. And at the back of a show, I think we both got asked to do the same mashup team. Like the back of the bar outside, he was just like, I love how weird you play, and wouldn't it be fun to just like have a team of weirdos only, like the big character type people? And I'm over here like, squeezing the. I was like, it's happening.
The chair breaks in your hand. Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, yeah, that would be kind of fun. Underplaying
Yes,
it. I don't know. But it was just like, it's happening.
And
like,
was that the origin of Planet Weird?
Yes.
Wow. So
Dave asked me to be on the weirdo team.
How cool.
How cool. I love full circle moments like that.
Yeah.
For me. And when like young improvisers come up to me and they're like, I'm so sorry, like I'm an indie nerd for improv. Should I move across the country to be here to do improv? Like drunk at a bar. And I was like, yes. Like, you think you're asking me, but you already know the answer. And you know I'm going to say yes. So like that kind of thing.
Do you think that in general, like that is true? Like if someone's asking for an affirming answer to their question, that they already have the answer and it's yes?
Yes.
Yeah. They're just seeking they want to hear the yes out loud, so they know it's not just in their head.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was their tarot card. I was their improv tarot card.
Yeah.
That they wanted to pull. And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pull it.
It's the Fool. Which is like the gesture, but also the start of the journey is you gotta jump. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the quote, leap and the net will appear.
100%.
Yeah. I want to ask some listener questions.
Oh.
Our subscribers now get to know who our guests are ahead of time, and they ask questions directly. So these are questions just for you.
No, I don't have curable type. You have to still be nice to
Okay.
me and send me
This
sunflowers.
person says, is it really in your bones? Meaning improv. Is improv in your bones? That's interesting. Okay, from Steve. You're so good and consistent at digital content. How do you manage that?
Oh. I had to get over the perceived, I guess the kids are calling it the ick or like cringe of posting
Mhm.
to social media. I had to do some inner child work
Mhm.
in therapy and through morning pages and Artist's Way.
Love the Artist's Way.
I do too.
That's where I got that leaping quote. It's a Julia Cameron quote. Yeah.
I love the quotes on those pages.
They're great.
One, I don't remember mine right now. But
The
I do
position
love
of
it.
the artist is humble. He is essentially a channel. That's another one I love
I
from
love
that
how
book.
sticky your brain is.
For some things.
But I
Uh,
feel like we have opposite sticky brains.
I wish I had some of your stick.
I wish I had some of your stick.
Can we trade sticks?
You're the most fact-based, puzzle-brained, smart genius.
But ask me if I took my meds today and I can't remember, which means that I won't take them because I don't want to overdose. Yeah. Awful.
And I would be I would remember if you did or not.
Yeah.
But you did remember I said second beats. That's the kind of brain I have. Like, I'll remember everything you've ever said to me in my life.
You are the Akashic records for your friends.
But I can't go on Jeopardy. I just have...
You could if all the Jeopardy questions were about your friends. Yeah.
Yes.
I do have a very a great memory for things that people said that made me laugh. Yeah, but they're sneaky. They'll lay dormant and then something will unlock them. Like I hadn't thought about second beats in a while and then it just came up. Yeah.
Yes.
But keep going. You're talking about
yes.
Yeah.
And then I also took a social media class. But I had to talk to my inner child, probably the one before my dad died. That was like every project in school I would want to like act it out or make it a play and do it in front of the class, and everyone thought that was insane to want to do. And I was like, this is the easiest A you could get.
Yeah, make a video about World War I.
I made a video about I interviewed Abraham Lincoln.
There it is. So easy.
Olivia Johansson, like Java Talk with Olivia Johansson.
Also, the trick with those is the teacher's so much more lenient with grades because it looks like you put more effort in. So you don't really have to be airtight on your content.
No, I read 3 facts. I was like, Abe, since you're so opposed to slavery, why'd you have some? And then I would just do my joke of drinking too much coffee and acting insane. And then we would cut to a diarrhea commercial.
Wow. So it was even there.
But even there, I was like, anti-diarrheal because people in the war got dysentery.
It's all smart.
It's all
smart stuff.
But it's like easy for me.
Yeah. So you connected to that part of you.
I'm talking to that person. I'm like, you always want to put yourself in front of the camera. Always. If I were to tell that person that their phone had like a fucking... It's all HD, like a movie studio. Like you can put it in front of your face all day and make videos.
Yeah.
You would do that.
Yeah.
But we do have this weird relationship with social media, and I just had to unweird it for myself because why wouldn't I? Again, getting sick is helping me be like, do what you love.
Unweirding it is a great
Unweird
verb.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not weird.
I have that same ick about like self-promotion and stuff. It took like everything in me to like get a website together. It's just, it's tough to get over that.
It's like, what am I, egotistical? Everyone wants to watch me. I maybe. But that's okay because you have a gift to share. And there are moments where I'm like, oh, I think I'm inspiring this person and their job is something totally different, but they're going to go to their job inspired. And that came from one of my first indie shows. Someone who helped like land the rover on Mars came up to me after and was like, how did you do that? That was awesome.
For real?
For real.
Like a person
that helped land the rover on Mars. How did I do that?
Did you say it's not rocket science?
For part 2 of this episode, go to yesalso.supercast.com. If you like this podcast and you want double the content, head over to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe. You can also help us out for free by subscribing to us on YouTube and talking us up to your improv communities. If you have a question that you'd like us to answer in one of our Q&A episodes, or a topic that you think would make a great bonus episode, put it in a 5-star review. If you're a theater who would like to host us for a live recording and improv show, let us know at yesalsopod@gmail.com. A very special thanks to our producer, Ryan Rosenberg, audio and video editor, Brian Kessler, and social media czar, Britt, Faye. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. No, we won't, Suzi. That's not how podcasts work. They won't even see us. They will listen to us, so it's actually the opposite of both things you said. Thanks for listening, and you will listen to us next week. Maybe. We don't know.